In the third part, let's talk about the water and spatial design in the informal. In this section, you will understand what is the urban problems related to water in the developing countries. What is the concept of spatial design in the informal? And some principle and suggestion of improving water cycle. In this presentation, I will mainly take the cases in the city of Ethiopia as examples. First, what is the urban problem related to water in Ethiopia? Let's take a look at one of the largest urban area, Dahir Dar, as an example. Dahir Dar is a city built nearby the lake. Its daily water supplies comes from the rainfall and the lake water. Water waste is discharged to the lake after simple treatment. Its water circular system is designed as a simple but a sustainable way. However, the informal buildings and settlements which increase from age of lake change this balance. In this aerial map from 2009 to 2020, the uncontrolled sprawl of temporary building occupied the whole margin area, and its extra water drawout and discharge of the untreated wastewater affect the original sustainable water cycle. Here, the section further explains the condition. In the part of informal settlements, no proper pipe waters and water treatment system has caused huge burden for the water body itself. The various land use, such as livestock, raising livestock, vegetables, small business, shows in the picture represent a difficulties to find a standard solution to control the water's discharge. And this scenario not only happens in the front lines of the lake, but also in the riverbank. Take the riverbank in the capital Addis Ababa as the other example. Akaki, the riverbank, and floodplains usually serve as a temporary vegetation area. However, in this aerial map, we can clearly tell that the severe buildings occupation in floodplains happens from 2003 to 2020. These situations severely influence the water system in the urban area. The problems of wastewater disposal without treatment happens. If we look at the section of the riverbank, we can more clearly tell how worse if the water purification, the water control do not conduct properly. It will influence the water quality, hygienic system, and efficiency of water supply. To solve above problems, or improve this condition, apparently we need to find a better solution except the traditional planning process. Therefore, a spatial design in the informal is introduced. Spatial design as a physical design generally implies a set of conscious decisions taken to decide on the quality of the end products of a certain spatial organization. In a formal condition, it usually appears in a linear process, from land production to planning, implementation to products. However, the spatial design in the informal could not appear in this way. The process of planning, implementation, and products always unclear and go back and forth. We should view it as a continuous process. The conscious decisions are taken to guide action of recognizing the physical space in order to respond to need within natural and man-made limitation. In the other words, we can see design as a principle which can be taken as a formalizing agent of the informal. Based on it, the spatial design in the informal can have a certain benefits for the city development in Ethiopia. Here, some principle and practical suggestion of improving water cycle is provided. About the principle, we should see spatial design in the informal as a tool to cultivate livelihood activities, a tool to rehabilitate the fragile environment, also as an input to empower local decision. After understanding these principles, we have certain suggestions for different water bodies of improving their water cycle. For example, for lake and reservoir, waterline is particularly important for sustaining water resource in this case. The priority is to finding a solution in the local context to discharge control of pollution. Furthermore, encourage the mixed use and integration of different functions for both formal and informal buildings will be the other suggestions. Second part, we are talking about the downstream water banks. Usually, the current formal planning parcels are made irrespective of the river water lines. It will cause some problem for the water rundown. We have several suggestions for this. Firstly, we need to create a safe and manageable system of water circulation. Secondly, introduce water as a land use element. Thirdly, introduce reservoir as an urban element and sortage system. Furthermore, re-innovation of building forms, neighborhood patterns in order to enhance the horticultural production is also the other suggestion. That's it, a brief introduction of water and spatial design in the informal. Thank you for your listening.